So this holiday season, the Fujifilm X-M5 is likely to be a hot pick when it comes to cameras. This is a super powerful, tiny little camera that really packs a punch. So in this video, we're going to break down my best used settings, the settings that I use taking images and videos with this camera. And so let's jump right in. So first off, let's go through the various dials and controls available on the X-M5. So in terms of controls and dials on the camera, you of course have a number of kind of controls on the back here. Your main one being your menu button. This will obviously allow you to access the main kind of settings area. You can press back at any point and that will take you back to the home screen. You have your play button up here and your area to delete and also change your drive mode, as you can see. So this will allow you to change like burst and bracketed shooting and that type of thing. In terms of manual controls on the camera, you have two main areas where you can change the manual controls. You have this wheel here. This is set to your shutter speed. And then you have this wheel on the front just here. This is a pretty crucial one. Because of the limited number of dials on the camera, you can actually press this, and this changes between the f-stop, the aperture, and the ISO. So you can actually adjust your ISO, and you can see that by pressing that in, pressing that out, just like this, that's how you change that setting. You can also change it to film simulation as well, but I stay either on f-stop or ISO, and that gives you full manual control over the camera. On the top, you have the film simulation dial. You have the mode control here, as you can see. All of these modes are photo modes, so manual, aperture, shutter priority, program, auto. Then you go round, there's the custom menus as well, and then you go around to the vlog and video setting, and the vlog one is super interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And the video setting, and this will change the settings that you have available in this area. You can see that this mode right now is in video, so I'm able to change much more of the video controls. But if I move over to maybe just standard manual, you go into the menu again, you can see that this is now a photo-centric mode. You do still have some video settings, but you don't get nearly as much control on that screen. This is also where you find your Q menu. Weird placement of this button aside. If you tap this, this is where you get this screen, which will allow you to change a lot of your settings at a very, very fast, kind of accessible way. This will actually change. The Q menu will change based on which mode you're in. So I'm in a photo mode right now. We'll take this off and go over to the video mode. And you can see that the Q menu is very, very different and will give you video-centric features. This film simulation dial is really, really interesting. On the one hand, it is obviously a super accessible way to view and access your film simulations. I've actually found this most useful to basically flick through the different film sims available, and you get an instant feedback by changing the dial. The only reason that this is kind of like somewhat controversial as a feature is you're taking up a ton of real estate on the top of the camera, obviously, and this previously was accessible. So if you actually go into the Q menu on your camera, you can actually very easily change between the different film sims. It's really not that hard. So this is for me a bit of an overkill one. I don't think it needs to be a dedicated dial. I would have actually preferred to give that to an additional customizable dial so we can have more manual control of this camera. Okay, so we're in a photo mode here, as you can see. We're in just the standard manual mode. Let's jump into the settings here and we can break down some of the photo settings. So first of all, your image quality settings. This is obviously extremely important. The image size, I tend to stick to the largest possible setting. That is large 3:2. If you want and you're wanting to shoot fast kind of JPEGs, just send them straight to your phone, that type of thing, you can easily downgrade this in terms of size if you don't need the additional resolution. In terms of image quality, I always have this set to normal plus raw. So I don't need a fine JPEG. That's a higher quality JPEG. But I do want the raw file just in case I end up getting an absolute banger photo and I have the chance to edit that afterwards. But the film simulation is going to always be baked in to the normal JPEG shot. In terms of raw recording, this is the raw quality that it's talking about here in terms of the photo file. So I go into here and I always change this to lossless compressed. Uncompressed are very large files. They tend to be on the Fuji. It will be a little bit lower than something like the Fuji X-106 because it's a smaller sensor size. But the lossless compressed will allow you to kind of retain the quality. Well, it's just a little bit of a smaller file size. This is where you can select the JPEG or high efficiency image format. I always tend to stick to JPEG just because I do lots of things like video editing and things like that. And then below this is where we get into actual film simulation changes. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. This camera does have access to Fujifilm's fantastic film simulations, and you can change and customize them like you can with most Fuji cameras. What I would do is, if you are interested in watching or looking at some of my recommended or my favorite Fuji film simulation recipes, you can check out this video right here on screen. I'll also have it linked down below. There's a number of film simulations there you might want to use. So moving on to the autofocus manual settings, I'm not going to go through each and every single one of these settings, of course, but the ones I'm going to recommend changing are actually, if you scroll down, there's a couple of ones. So first of all, the eye and face detection, I would kind of always recommend you have that on if you are shooting people. There's a setting below it that will allow you to change it to things like animals and that type of thing. But the ones that I'm going to suggest you have off are pre-AF. This is something which they have on Fuji cameras. I am not personally a massive fan of it. It basically is going to kind of almost like predict where you're going to want to autofocus. It's just not a feature which I like. AF plus manual switch, you may want to play around with this. It's just a different mechanism for autofocusing and manual focusing. If you change the manual focus mode, it will kind of like override the autofocus. You might enjoy that. Personally, I prefer to always keep it off on my cameras. And then the last one I'm really going to recommend you to change is the touchscreen mode here. And as you can see, you can move it down to autofocus. And what that's going to allow me to do now is tap to autofocus, nice and easy, as you can see, and it's turning off the feature, which again is one of the features that I actually really dislike about the Fuji system. You may well love it. I personally turn it off straight away, which is the touch to take photo. Like, you would be tapping the screen, it would be taking a shot each and every time. I personally turn that off and change this to an auto-focusing system. It's just how I prefer to use my cameras. And then finally, we'll just go into the last photocentric setting. We'll scroll down. These are the just various different modes and options you have. Things like self-timer, if you wanted to add a self-timer to the shot. I'm going to turn that off for now. Something which I do want to mention is the shutter type here, because you can actually change this from a mechanical shutter to an electronic shutter. And this is a really useful feature if you're doing street photography, because the shutter, as you can see, if we do this here, is fairly loud on this camera. I'm actually hold it up to the mic here so you can see what I'm talking about. Whereas what we can do actually is go into that setting again, go into the shutter type, and then change it to an electronic shutter if you're doing something like street photography, and it will be pretty much completely silent. And then what we'll do is go down to the settings area and go into sound setup, and then we'll go down to electronic shutter volume here and turn that to off. And this will actually allow you to have a totally silent take, which is extremely useful for street photography. And then the last photo setting that I recommend you change is we'll go down to the third photo screen here, and then you can see that we have the option for IS. This camera doesn't have image stabilization or optical image stabilization. You're going to be reliant on lens stabilization and digital stabilization, but you can go in here and you'll change that. You can turn it off, or you can change it to continuous or shooting only mode. I tend to just leave this on continuous. Okay, great, fantastic. We are all set up from a photo perspective. You are hopefully set up to go and take some great snaps using the X-M5. Next would be the video settings, and this is not the vlog settings. We'll come to that in a second. This is the shooting high fidelity video, almost like the best video settings that I recommend using this camera. So we're now on the video setting, and what this is going to allow you to do is take very high quality videos. You're going to be able to have lots of your kind of like manual video controls, that type of thing. The first thing I'm going to suggest you change, if you are shooting video in this mode, I'd recommend you change the shooting mode to manual, so give you full manual controls. The movie mode, this camera shoots absolutely gorgeous 6.2K video up to 30 frames a second, as you can see. So I'm in Europe. I tend to leave this at the 6.2K open gate video at 25 frames a second. So once you've got that set, the next thing I would recommend you changing or setting is the media recording settings down here. You can see that we have the option of recording via HDMI. I'm recording obviously to SD cards. And then you have the option here that is going to allow you to change your data rate. So the mode that I've got set up at the moment, the 6.2K video, you're going to want to shoot H.265 422. That's a 10-bit format. And then you can go up to as much as you like here. I tend to stick on 100 megabits a second. If you are wanting to grade the footage a whole bunch, you might want to sit on the 200 megabits a second, but you will need faster cards for that. I tend to keep this at 100. Going down to the next page here, this is the next very important setting. This is the F-Log or HLG recording, and this is going to allow you to change your color controls and color gamuts if you are wanting to grade your footage. I keep this on F-Log 2, Fuji Log 2 for both. This is going to allow you to shoot in a flat profile that you are going to be able to color grade afterwards. In terms of the data level, I leave this in video. We'll ignore the flickerless setting for now. On the IS mode, you're going to want this to be OIS if you have an OIS lens. I do definitely keep this away from the off button because you are going to end up with some very shaky footage otherwise. And then the rest of these controls are actually just kind of like user preference. Those are the main ones you're going to want to change from a video perspective. You can also go down here and go into the microphone setting. And there's a few key features because of course we do have a microphone port on this camera. But if you go down to the microphone direction setting, you can actually change the way the microphone works and responds to. I tend to keep this on surround, but again, you could have like front and back priority, which would kind of cut out areas around the camera and prioritize the front and the back. Or if you're just filming the subject and you only want the subject's audio, you could select something like front priority. And there's a couple of really useful features, things like the noise reduction settings. You can go into there. This is where you have your wind filter or your low cut filter, that type of thing. And then next up is the vlog setting. This is what I talked about earlier in the video. This is actually going to allow us to very easily create videos tailored to an online content creation angle. Things like vertical videos or videos set to a certain specific amount of time for things like TikTok, Instagram, that type of thing. You can see that the screen is already a little bit different here, but we'll open up the menu setting, go up here. You can see that there are very different video options. Some of them are the same, things like shooting mode. I'm going to change this to manual, as you can see, and you can change the size and controls here, but you can see that there's a few really interesting features. Most notably is the short movie mode. So you can actually do this. Well, let's put this up to maybe recording 1 minute videos, and that's 9:16. So you can see that this actually is going to give you almost like a slice image, perfect for TikTok and Instagram. You also have option to the video self timer here as well. So you could set yourself up a 10-second self timer to allow you to get into the frame, that type of thing. And you can see that if you do change to the 9:16 short movie mode, it is going to change the settings that you have available. You'll be enforced to shoot in full HD 9:16. And there we have it, guys. That is hopefully giving you an idea of some recommended settings you can get started with your brand new X-M5. Hopefully you found this one useful, and we'll catch you guys next time.